Good morning and welcome to the Devico Breakfast Bar. This morning we have Nicolas Treppides from Moneygate, who's the founder of Moneygate. Nicolas, first of all, tell us a little bit about Moneygate and what your business does.
So first of all, good morning and thank you for having me. My name is Nicolas Treppides. I'm an entrepreneur. Moneygate is an electronic money institution that was founded a couple of years ago. Last year, we secured a license from the Central Bank of Cyprus in order to have a license that can serve across the European Union. As model is, we call it an alternative to the traditional banking. Basically, we are mainly dealing with corporate clients who need good technology, have many payments, many receipts every month, and want to run on their business through a digital.
Okay, thank you very much. So the whole FinTech and the banking world, it's a very fast-moving environment. I mean, how would you describe that current situation, the opportunities in the FinTech space?
Yeah, I mean, in recent years, there was a lot of skepticism for big companies, even banking institutions, to shift from their traditional business and on the way they were used to do things. But we've seen a great evolution, and you see a lot of fintech companies that developed the last 5 to 10 years and the valuations that they currently have. It's obvious that the market started understanding and appreciating the fact that technology is now here to stay. And I know that there's always the debate whether technology has replaced the human factors. It did in a way, but it did only in a good way, if you're asking me, because it has optimized a lot of processes that would require in the past a team of 5 or 7 people to undertake a task. Now it's done by one person that sometimes is simply overlooking the procedures and the systems are run perfect. If you think about it, the end result always has a benefit to the consumer because the cost eventually reduces to zero because the cost of technology gets amortized. Whereas with the human factors, every year you need to pay more and more and more in order to maintain. So I think that the technology really evolved, especially in the fintech.
Okay. We are going to talk a bit more about your business and some of the challenges you've had, but I want to wind it back a bit and let people understand a bit more about you. So you said you're an entrepreneur and in the fintech space, but could you tell us a bit about your journey of maybe different things you've been involved in that's taken you to where you are today?
I've done a few projects until now. I started from my family business. My dad is an accountant. When I joined, after I finished my university studies in the UK, in the University of Manchester, we decided to try something different than accounting by utilizing all the facilities. And we entered into the corporate space. That was back in 99. So I had a bit of luck because that was the time that the internet started evolving. And as a young entrepreneur, I found this fascinating. So we started developing a few interesting corporate solutions. This eventually gave me visibility and attracted my interest in gaming. There was a lot of interest around gaming. So I decided to start my own business back in 2003. I ran for a few years both .com but also retail, some gaming businesses that did quite well. Later, I decided to exit and diversify. I founded a company that was in the fintech space. It was a brokerage company online. That was again around successful until 2017. So it was about 6 years. Then I decided that I want to take real estate more professionally. So I started investing in real estate projects and operating them in Greece. And then finally, I decided to start my new baby, my new lab, which is called Moneygate. And basically, what does is one common characteristic between my businesses is that I usually like to create a business, then I like to operate it myself. I like to build value, and if timing and valuations are right, I like to exit. Another characteristic is I believe a lot in focus. You need to focus if you really want to achieve. So I'm always trying to deal actively with just one project. That's my short story.
That is really
Yeah.
interesting. I liked your phrase, my baby, when you talked about Moneygate. I mean,
Yes.
there's a passion in your voice. Share us a bit about your passion. What is it that gets you out of bed in the morning each day?
Well, that's a very interesting question. Two things: my kids and family, and money. Again, I'm always, before I go to bed, I'm trying to think as little as possible in order to have a peaceful sleep, which doesn't always happen. But otherwise, I just make a short note of tasks for next morning. So when I wake up in the morning, I refresh my memory with those tasks. And I have my daily schedule with priorities on who I should be calling, what what should be done within the business, what we need to do with the team, and just schedule the day. 50% of the time, the day never finishes as planned, but next day I started with the same way.
It's good to hear. We often get our guests to share with us some kind of funny story or experience that they've had throughout their working life. You've had exposure to many different experiences. I wonder if you look back, you could share with us an experience that was either funny or a bizarre experience that you look back and had some learning from it.
I could say something funny, but there wasn't much to learn about it. And that
Okay.
was relatively recent with Moneygate. I mean, it's relevant in the sense that with Moneygate and with any digital bank, you deal a lot with clients, and you always need to check who your clients are. And you always need to be very, very careful in order to assess the correctness of all the documents, etc. But I remember that one of the first applications that we received randomly for Moneygate was from Elvis Presley. So, so, I mean, we found it finally here. I mean, we knew that it was not something genuine, but yeah, I thought that was fun.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's start thinking about Moneygate and understand a little bit more around some of the opportunities, but some of the challenges you're facing. We sometimes talk about this of what's in your inbox right now that may be causing challenges. Could you share with us some of those core challenges for you and your organization at the moment, particularly in the context of the current economic environment, right?
It's a fact that there is a strange economic environment right now, and there is a lot of discussion around FinTech companies and how this is affected. This is more relevant for companies where they are looking for valuations, multiples, etc. And it became tougher. Interest rates are high, so the investors have expectations of higher returns. They want to see profitability rather than revenues. They want to see solid companies with technology. Moneygate is not at this stage yet. We are only 1 year into the market, and we don't feel ready. Timing is not right for us to go out there and raise money, and the company is self-funded and for the time being. But regarding challenges for Moneygate, I think that it's very easy to see that there are many companies out there with a very similar business model like the one of Moneygate. And we do recognize that this is not a challenge yet, but I am aware that the way that we are developing this business, it would be a nice, successful business, nice to have, but it's very, very important for us to eventually, now that the company is becoming more stable in terms of the operations, in terms of technology stability, etc., to eventually find niche markets or niche products so that we can penetrate specific market specific, industry specific companies. So this is the biggest challenge that Moneygate will be facing in the next 6 to 12 months. We already started having some ideas, so I feel confident that we will get to the end of it.
Okay. And what would you say are the kind of core business capabilities you feel you need to give you that confidence?
I think it's all about identifying the demand of the specific product and being able to develop it technologically, of course, and being able to implement it. So it's all about coming with the idea and bringing it to the market.
Okay. And as far as internal processes and systems and resources and people, for example, how important is it for you to leverage those to help you achieve your goals?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think what our biggest challenge in terms of internal procedures of human resources, it would be key to try and grow the company with as little additions as possible. We are a fintech company, and as such, we hope and expect that the company will be run from systems with the support of people. And we don't want to become a company with too many employees, etc. Regarding handling depends on the skills of your people. I would say that Moneygate today has a very good team. As regards to systems and technology and feedback, we are in a very good shape. Of course, it's technology, it keeps evolving, keeps changing, but our systems are in place in order to be able to scale up and meet up those requirements as the market dictates.
Okay. Do you have a head of product development or IT in your organization that reports into you?
Yes, of course. I have a small IT department, and the head of IT reports directly to me. We have daily sessions of about an hour and a half to 2 hours every day. I think this is very helpful because it keeps me in the loop, but at the same time, I provide them with my feedback of what I see out there in the market. And this way we are synced between, founder, co-CEO and settlement.
Okay. And that relationship that you have with your product development or your IT team, I mean, specifically around your expectations and the KPIs that you would expect from them to show that they're doing what they should be doing for you. Could you share with us what they are in your mind?
Right now, everything is project specific. Therefore, we are not selling software to others. So we don't need to have those KPIs in place. It's more like deliverables. So it's time and the end result. As I said, a lot of the systems are already in place. Some of them have been developed in-house. Some we took off the shelf. Some we asked others to develop. So we are basically managing this equation. This is what the edit is.
Okay. I think there are always two important variables of time and cost and how we do that to best effect. I wondered if you could talk to us about how you came across IT outsourcing as a concept and maybe how your IT leadership team have used that or introduced it to you.
Yeah, so especially in FinTech, um, uh, with the business model of management, I find it's very costly and very risky if you decide to develop everything in-house. For example, the core Python software, there's only a few big players there, and you see most of the banks using them, and some other fintech companies, it's obvious that those systems are too complex. They require many years of development and advancement. So when this product we decided to let's say take off the shelf. Regarding outsourcing, it's always a challenge because there's always a debate as well if it makes sense to outsource or do everything else. I think at the end of the day, it's not a question whether we should outsource. I think it's a question with who we should outsource. And we did have some bad experiences as well because you do face two problems with companies offering outsourcing. The main one is that sometimes they don't understand the product that you want to develop or you want to have. So they've said or they've done something similar, but there is no good understanding. Eventually, once you try to go live, you're going to have issues. And this is one of the issues. The second issue is that sometimes companies being eager to sign more clients and to sell more, go and see companies like Moneygate, create beautiful presentations, show you exactly what they will deliver, but then again, it has to do with understanding of the product, and they cannot deliver. So this can be a bad decision to outsource. However, I do believe in outsourcing. I think that everybody should be doing what they do best. We are not a software development company. My angle is coming as an entrepreneur with a fintech angle. So I want as much ready product as possible in order to be able to distribute. But it's very, very important to make the right decision as to who to choose as a partner.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd be interested in how you then internally work your kind of governance or frameworks to manage that relationship with your outsourced partner so that we don't suffer from the risks that you've just explained.
Again, when you outsource, first of all, there is a contract in place. And this is, again, very important that you do get to agree most of the terms contractually from the beginning, even if this relationship will not eventually come into marriage. So sometimes it's even better to risk signing that contract instead of signing a bad contract, because it will chase you for many months and maybe years. It will focus you and your legal team and your tech team. On an ongoing basis, I think this is where the head of IT comes into place. It's very important, first of all, that the communication and the chemistry between the outsourcing company and your internal IT department is there. It's very important that there's good communications and good chemistry. And that is proper monitoring, follow-up, even testings. And I think that if you achieve that, then you can end up with a good outcome.
You mentioned before you have experienced some challenges with outsourcing throughout your time, obviously without sharing the name of the organization, but are you able to bring to life a particular experience where it didn't work well for you, an IT outsourcing model?
Yes, sure. When we did start, we decided, I was also rushing to bring something out in the market. I thought that I'm going to have my license faster than I actually did. License always takes a bit of time. So we decided to take a product for the front end, for the web banking, off the shelf. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough attention or enough understanding of what we were expecting to. Maybe they didn't understand what we are expecting to receive. Maybe it was also our fault. I don't want to throw that to other people, but the matter of fact was that we went live with it. And 2 weeks later, we realized that it could not stay, because once you go live, you start to see the real demands, either with the user management or with different interfaces, access levels, and so forth. And we understood that couldn't take us far. We did take a decision to disconnect and parallel with the combination of two things. We developed one part ourselves, and then the second part, which was a mobile version of Moneygate, was developed by the.
Okay. And we'll talk about your relationship with Devico shortly. I just wanted then to spin. We've heard where it hasn't worked for you, but could you talk us through an experience where at the end of that project you thought, well, I'm glad we had an IT outsource partner for that project?
And that's actually the case with the because
Okay.
so and when quite I would say almost coincidentally because I met one of the shareholders. Again, we were discussing about my challenges, and then I asked whether Devico would be interested to come and take this project for Moneygate. Oleg told me that he would want to understand a bit more, so we prepared exactly what we were thinking to do, and we also presented him a few features in our web banking. And I have to say that it, from the first call that we had with their team, it felt like that department belonged to management. It was funny because I did the call on a Friday, and on Saturday I flew to go on a holiday for a week with my family. So I thought that I'm gonna rest for a week, but already on Thursday, one of the members of Devico, the guy who was responsible for the UI UX, was asking for a Zoom call because he was ready to present me with the first images. I was very excited, of course, to jump on the call. And that was the start of a very beautiful relationship. The product was developed within the deadlines that we agreed for and first and in writing afterwards. So first of all, it was on a perfect timing. We went on testing. We found zero issues. Usually it takes a month, maybe two, identifying different bugs. And the most important is the feedback that we get now from our clients, because irrespective of what I would say, if once it hits the market, it doesn't have a good feedback, then your product is not up to standards. But we get very good feedback. It's a product that now we can develop and scale upon. So I think for marketing, for us, I think the example of Devico as a decision to outsource was a tick in the box.
Okay. Thank you. Here's a question. As a summary, could you give me 3 words then that would describe to me the benefits of working with Devico for you?
I would say consistency, reliability, and understanding the product.
Okay, thank you. And they're useful words for anybody to measure any IT outsourcer relationship with in the future, I guess. One last question. There's lots of people here who will be listening and wondering how they enter into a relationship with an IT outsourcer. If there was individuals here, CTOs, CEOs, who are about to consider doing that, what advice would you give them?
First, I would say do what you do best. Let others do what they do best for you. It will be faster and cheaper. But I think the most important is to probably assess the abilities and capabilities of the outsourcing company, of the resources they have and they're committing to dedicate. And of course, costing. Costing is always the A to Z in it.
Yeah, good. Well, Nicolas Treppides from Moneygate, thank you very much for a really interesting conversation and sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.